Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening. First tonight, convicted killer Belinda Leonie Colburn has had her appeal dismissed over the brutal murder of Aaron Matthew Monaco in Newnham in 2016. Our reporter Sean McComish has more.
Belinda Leonie Colburn had been appealing her 24-year prison sentence on the grounds that it was manifestly excessive, but today 3 judges found otherwise. In November 2016, Colburn and Nathan Thomas Smith murdered Aaron Monaco at a unit at Newnham. The pair were angry, believing Mr Monaco had overstayed his welcome at the flat. Fueled by alcohol, Smith fatally stabbed the 41-year-old with a knife provided by Colburn. Smith later admitted his part in the crime. It took a jury to find Colburn guilty. Summarising the killing during the 2018 murder trial, Justice Gregory Geeson said, Mr Monaco stood no chance in the face of wanton aggression, which was exhibited by Smith, enabled and supported by Colburn. In August this year, Colburn appealed her sentence on the grounds it was excessive because of a lack of her criminal history and that some evidence was unreliable. Today, 3 judges each dismissed the appeal. Chief Justice Alan Blow said, I am not persuaded that the sentence of 24 years imprisonment with a non-parole period of 13 years was manifestly excessive. The judges said that witness evidence also undermined claims that Colburn remained seated on a couch during the murder. She'll stay behind bars for at least another 11 years before she's eligible for parole.
And Tasmania could also be in line to benefit from that energy investment, with hopes Bell Bay could become home to a national hydrogen export hub. The site is one of many being considered across the nation for the $70 million project. A final location will be selected through an upcoming competitive process. Travellers from the state's south have been told to pack their bags and head to the airport. Flights to King and Flinders Islands will start from Hobart at the end of this month. Businesses say they'll be greeting fellow Tassie tourists with open arms.
The beauty of King Island speaks for itself, but if you need convincing, here's Adam Healy.
I found it 3 years ago. I wish I'd found it 30 years ago. To me, it's like winning lotto, finding that place. It is spectacular.
Now King and Flinders Island are within closer reach for southern travellers. Currently, flights only take off from the north and northwest, but from September 30, passenger flights will begin from Hobart Airport.
We're going to run this for 18 weeks, 3 days a week, operated by Sharp Airlines with an 18-seat aircraft. So we think it's an ideal trial period.
The Sharp boss hopes to fill enough seats to make the flight path permanent.
Well, already the phones are ringing, so again, we're just pleased to be playing the supporting role in assisting in opening up our state.
As for tickets, King Island is expected to price roughly $460 return. For Flinders, around $480 return.
So really competitive fares, under $500 to get there and back.
The state government is underwriting the costs, but won't need to if the flights run at 70% capacity.
This takes King Island out of the too hard basket, and indeed Flinders Island, and puts it straight onto the to-do list for Tasmanians, particularly for southern Tasmanians.
And if you need a final reason to visit,
come down to the local, have a beer, and everyone's keen to have a chat.
Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
There are concerns over the state's bushfire readiness following claims some firefighting vehicles aren't up to the job. The Greens say an email from Parks and Wildlife Management to staff has warned against using the current fleet because of weight issues and to only half-fill water tanks.
What we know is that the Parks Minister has for at least a year known that the vehicles Parks and Wildlife Service would use in a fire are not fit for purpose.
The practical breakdown of this is that when we buy vehicles and when we buy tanks to put on them, then we have to work within the vehicle's capability and the GVM.
The state government says it's currently in the tendering process for a new fleet. With the Commonwealth COVID support winding back, struggling Tasmanians are being told there's still help in other places. The state government is topping up its no-interest loan scheme as it warns against the trap of payday lenders.
For Danielle West, she knows all too well the pain of being stung by high-interest loans.
It was ridiculous, and I'd never ever do it again.
But it's an experience that changed her life. After doing it once, she turned to Tasmania's NILS network, a program offering no-interest loans to help those on low incomes buy essentials.
I was a newly single mum. My youngest son was only about 2 months old, and my other son was 5, and I just had nothing. I was renting by myself, and it was hard. It was really hard. And if it wasn't for the no interest loans, I wouldn't have got a bed. It's as simple as that.
So impressed, she now volunteers her own time, helping others with the program. And it's proving popular, especially with those feeling the strain of the global pandemic, with times tough and jobs few and far between.
So many people get them. I mean, I don't know how many loans I've done, but you could probably average it out, probably 3 or 4 a week.
We all have family and friends that have been affected economically, and particularly at the end of September, we're really worried about what might happen for them.
And now the program's been bolstered by an extra $1 million funding for household goods or services. This year, there's been an 11% rise in loans needed, saving around $2.8 million in interest fees and charges.
And some of the options out there are convenient, but can be a trap for vulnerable people or people whose income varies over time, particularly the payday lenders, the rent-to-buy schemes.
The scheme making sure struggling Tasmanians are no longer at the mercy of payday loan sharks. Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
Hundreds have voiced outrage online about an out-of-control party near Launceston. Many have questioned whether the bash at the Blessington Hall on the weekend was COVID safe, with reports as many as 500 people attended. But the Youth Network of Tasmania says all young people shouldn't be tarred with the same brush.
There are some young people that are making poor choices, but I think the majority of young people are doing the right thing.
Tasmania Police says the party is not yet under investigation. Correctional officers are once again calling for training and staffing levels to be bolstered in Tasmanian prisons. It comes after a scathing custodial inspector's report was tabled in Parliament yesterday, detailing systemic failings in the sector. Officers now want to see more action and better communication with government, saying the current prison environment is also impacting the training of new staff.
And the lack of facilities, which is creating a block in the staff numbers that we have, and that's creating our lockdowns.
The government and management are failing to uphold their duty and are failing to invest properly in the system and make sure that it can run effectively.
The government says it supports all but one of the report's 39 recommendations. A controversial recycling plant proposed for Launceston has been knocked back by council. The Veolia Waste Processing Centre was due to be built at an old industrial site in Invermay. The council refused planning approval because of issues around noise emissions. Concerned residents also voiced safety fears about the number of truck movements to and from the site. What some consider the most majestic of manes, the mullet, has become the contemporary cut at a high school fundraiser. Students and teachers at Riverside High were locked in to change their locks for a cause.
All good things take time, and mullets are no different. How long have you been growing the mullet for?
Oh, about a year and a half.
Stylists had their work cut out, but manicuring these manes into the famous hairstyle was like a rock and roll show.
It's such a crowd that we've got going at the moment. Everyone's so into it.
Organisers say enlisting eager students was easy.
Yeah, they were pretty keen actually. They like to sign up very quickly.
Teachers tried it too. And what's your favourite mullet?
Favourite mullet of all time, Wayne Wiedemann.
Wiedemann's there. I don't know that it's booing, Pete. I think it's weed.
Well, time for me to have the Wayne Wiedemann treatment now. Hope Mum likes it. As the saying goes, ask for forgiveness, not permission.
She doesn't know that I'm getting it. My hair, my rules.
Good fun for a good cause. The school raised close to $2,000 for mental health charity Are You OK? Tom Johnson, 7 Tasmania News.
Well, an exciting new initiative is plotting a roadmap for Tasmanians to discover the best in homegrown wine and spirits. The Tasman Trail hopes to boost the local industry before a potential influx of interstate travellers fly in for summer.
A Tasman Tipple tour.
How beautiful slow gins.
So much.
We love this.
It's a spirit trail and it's a winery trail.
The southeast spruiking itself as the distillery destination.
The quality of the produce in Tasmania is so strong now that it's a really compelling day out.
6 homegrown liquor houses tapping into the trail idea, including Hellfire Bluff, who was excited to serve up its unique potato vodka.
We're sort of trying to stay different and away from the normal Tasmanian gin market and make sure that we stand out on our own.
Leaders believe this will help rebuild the industry struggling under a lack of interstate tourism, but it's the summer period which most are eagerly awaiting.
The level of confidence is huge at the moment and people are really gearing up to take advantage of when the lockdown finishes.
Demand from punters also huge, and as students prepare to spend 2 weeks at home, perhaps it's the parents who are seeking a getaway.
Seeing really strong bookings through the school holidays and also the 2 weeks after the school holidays.
The state government's new holiday vouchers also tipped to bubble interest to visit Tasmanian corners sometimes overlooked.
It's time to get out into those regions and really dig around and find those hidden gems.
Garth Burley, 7 Tasmania News.
Kingborough will be out to make it 3 wins on the trot against Clarence. The Tigers coach says the side's first ever win over Glenorchy was a high point for the club. Ex-AFL star Mackenzie Willis will be right to play despite an injury concern.
When he bent over to pick the ball, just a little bit of neck, he copped it there and a few little pins and needles, so like your classic old school stinger, I think they call it. So yeah, he played the game out and he's done everything this week, so he's all good.
Clarence will also be keen on containing Kieran Lovell in the middle.
There's a lot of guys within the competition that can win clearance, but his is so damaging. So look, we need to definitely do the job there. We've got some plans for him.
The teams will be playing for the Godomsky-Rewalt Trophy. Richie Port is closer than ever to a maiden Tour de France crown. Port climbed to 4th overall after the toughest stage of the tour overnight.
Known as the Queen Stage, the tour's most unforgiving theatre hammered riders at gradients of up to 24%. Not that the Tasmanian showed it.
Richie, he looks really composed. This is as good as he's looked at the tour.
The cool cover was blown at 2,000 metres elevation when the front-runners broke away. Amid a flurry of flags, the Slovenians had the crowd on their side.
Wikipedia tells us the population's only 2 million. It looks a lot more than that on this mountain.
Miguel Angel Lopez won the stage. Port finished 5th, but moved up to 4th overall, 1 position better than his previous best in 2016.
It was an absolute brutal stage, one of the hardest I think I've ever done in my career.
Even with 2 rounds to play this weekend, State League Netball's Final 4 is already tied up. Kingston will finish 3rd on the table, regardless of how the side goes against the winless Devon.
Every team has got weaknesses this year in terms of that massive break and, fitness and stuff. But I think just coming together and really working as a team will be really important this week.
Northern Hawks, Cavaliers and Cripps Waratah will also play finals. And after much anticipation, Tasmania's Riley Meredith wasn't called up to play against England. Disappointed fans took to Twitter, one pointing out Meredith's long stints in quarantine, only to sit through a series without facing a ball.
Good evening. Temperatures sat between 2 and 4 below average today. Hobart 13 degrees, Launceston 15, Burnie 14 and Devonport 16. And that was the warmest too. 16 degrees also recorded at Smithton. Low Head 15, Bushy Park 14, St Helens, Strawn, Friendly Beaches and the Islands 13, Grove a top of 12. High cloud moved over the north during the day, some mid to low cloud over the south and east coasts. A strange pattern there. Broad areas of cloud blankets eastern WA, and that also goes through into South Australia and right through the Great Australian Bight. As we look now on to tomorrow, we'll see a high pressure zone right over Tasmania. Lots of low pressure systems and cold fronts and associated troughs are moving through central Australia. Winds tomorrow? Well, a mixed bag actually, mostly variable inland, but southeast to northeast at 15 to 25 knots over most areas, although westerly over southern waters. A little warning to tell you about: a chilly night ahead, a frost warning issued for susceptible regions for tomorrow morning. Forecast for Hobart, a top of 15 degrees and sunny. A morning frost for Huonville, 16 the top, just 1 for Campania to start us off and 16 the high. 17 for Launceston, a mostly sunny, 14 and partly cloudy for Devonport, sunny in Georgetown, 15 the maximum. Burnie looking for 14 degrees and partly cloudy, bit of a frost for Strawn, 15 the maximum and 14 for Wynyard. St Helens a high of 15 degrees, a sunny day. Swansea sunny as well, 16 the top and 15 for Port Arthur. On Saturday, sunny for Hobart, cloudy for most with showers over the north and northeast. Showers on Sunday mainly over the north, the west and central areas. Another forecast for showers has been issued for Monday. Sunny and 23 in Perth tomorrow, partly cloudy in Adelaide, light rain over Melbourne, possible showers for Canberra and Sydney, a shower for Brisbane and a storm early in Alice Springs. And clear conditions continue at the moment, 8 degrees in Hobart, Launceston currently 9 and Devonport 11 as well. Kim, today is International Country Music Day. I bet you didn't know that. To mark the occasion, I have bought tickets to see our own Wolf Brothers in concert in a church in October. But you better hurry to get yours because they're like hotcakes.
I'm very jealous. Enjoy it, Murph, enjoy it. I thought you were going to sing for a minute, so I'm glad at least you didn't, and we're all very much proud of our Wolf Brothers, aren't we? Well, before we leave you tonight, in a rare but very cute moment, a mother wombat and its baby are being captured frolicking in bushland. The pair caught cuddling at Cradle Mountain, where they're often found exploring the popular site. Mum and bub leaving tourists delighted. And that's the news for this Thursday evening. There'll be news, sport and weather updates throughout the evening. Good night.